Hello, everybody. So great to see you. What gets your attention? Well, I like to start off this video by sharing with you a quote from Carl Jung. And he says, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain." I like to share with you in this video lately what I have been going through the past several months. You know, I have been going through this shoulder problem, as some of you may know, having this rotator cuff tendonitis. And, I just had this bone spur that was positioned that would just tear into my shoulder. And, just working as a hairstylist, it has been pretty difficult. And, I was just thinking, before all of this pain that abruptly caught my attention, I was just in this barely survival mode, I noticed, these past several years. I remember reflecting back, like just a couple of years ago during the pandemic and coming back to work, working at the salon and having to wear a mask, and I chose not to have an assistant anymore. I trained 25 assistants, so I was spoiled and used to having all that help with them doing the shampoos and putting color and so many other things that I found myself pretty much just huffing and puffing and just barely getting by. It took so much physical, I was so exhausted mentally, physically. It was stressful, it was hard, just wearing the mask and thinking and trying to create and physically just keep going at it. It was pretty brutal, but God always works in so many surprising ways. And to get my attention, wow, I had to have my shoulder go out. And it caused me to finally take a break and just to rest. And just taking off the past 3.5 months, not working at a salon. Wow, did I need that. How about you? Have you just felt like you were in a barely survival mode? Maybe you're just, as a mother, hustle and bustle, trying to raise your children and feeding them and taking care of the house and taking them to all the sports activity or dance activities and so many things. You're just running yourself ragged and you feel that nobody else can do it and you put this pressure and burden on yourself. I know I used to do that when my 2 sons were smaller, and I had a few wake-up calls in the past from that, and I learned. But it's so hard for us. I know some of us can be workaholics, and in our job, in our career, we're so focused and fixated, making the income and, paying our bills and doing entertainment, trying to enjoy this life and travel and whatever else. We just get so caught up into the rat race of living in this world. I know that we get so distracted by so many different things. It could be our phone, it could be movies, it could be our hobbies, it could be people that is in our face and needing us to do certain things for them, and just so it could be so many different things. But I noticed with myself, I eventually lost my passion for work. When I reflect back and just trying to barely be in survival mode the last few years and just trying to make ends meet, paying the bills and just doing the best you can, and just the hustle and bustle, your mind, you have no clarity, you just don't feel you're rested and settled. You can't focus, you just go, go, go. I know when I lay down sleeping on my pillow, I feel like, God, time is going by so quickly. I felt like I just laid down in bed, going to sleep not too long ago. And I look at the end of the day, I'm like, what did I even do today? Do you find yourself doing that? Well, I hope and pray that something that I share today may bring some type of value to you. and to just encourage you to take a pause and just to rest and relax. I had this season of just resting in the Lord, just to replenish myself, to restore my soul, to just remember who I am as a person, as an individual. We can forget ourselves. We just lose ourselves. And then sometimes we could become unrecognizable. I know that's happened to me in my past too. But I'd like to share with you this Bible verse. And it says in Matthew 11:28-30, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me. For I am gentle and lowly in heart, and I will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Don't you just want to feel light as a feather, that you can just float and fly? If you feel like there's so much weight on your shoulder and all that pressure that you feel that is coming from the outside, or maybe within yourself, you're putting pressure on yourself for whatever reason, just pause and relax and breathe. Refrain from whatever is taking so much of your time, your energy, your attention, that's making you weary and heavy laden. I just encourage you to just cast all your cares onto God, and He will take care of you, because He loves you so much, more than you could imagine, and He wants the very best for you. I like to share with you, at this time, this Jewish old parable about a shoemaker. And there was a shoemaker. He loved to just make and design shoes. He took so much joy, and it just gave him energy, and he can create, and it gave him passion. He was just energized a day in and a day out. What kind of shoes can I create and design? He loved it. And then one day, the enemy, Satan, was talking with God and said, basically asking permission to tempt the shoemaker and see how his response will be. God said, okay. So Satan got to work. And then he suddenly made that shoemaker busy. And he became so popular that people were just wanting and needing him so much to make shoes for them. And he was just customizing, making it. He enjoyed it at first. He got so busy in his business. But what happened eventually, he lost his passion, his joy. He became drained. He lost his energy. He wondered and scratched his head, where did my motivation, my passion go? I got so busy in the need of people calling and wanting them to make shoes for them. Well, that reminded me of myself too. As a hairdresser, doing hair for 36 years. I enjoy it so much, the craft. I love the people. There's so much reward in the type of job. But when you become so busy, you're always giving, creating physically and mentally, and it can take a toll after a while. So when I reflect back the past several months, I believe that God definitely got my attention with pain. Going back to Carl Jung, there's no coming to consciousness without pain. The jolt of pain is just in your face. And my son, bless his heart, he's so compassionate with his mom, my 27-year-old. One day when he late at night. He was tired after work, but he was passionately talking to me, trying to convince me for 40 minutes, Mom, you need to take a break from work. For 4 months, I was working, thinking that I had a frozen shoulder, thinking I was going to get better over time. But later, after 3 months, when I got the cortisone shot, I went to the orthopedic specialist. And when he looked at the x-ray, he says, oh, you have a tear here. The bone spur is positioned where whenever you lift your hand up to do hair, it's like you biting your tongue. You have a rotator cuff tendonitis, and he told me, go back to physical therapy and tell them to show you the exercises specifically for rotator cuff tendonitis, not the exercises for a frozen shoulder. So therefore, I changed up my ways. So my son, he says, Mom, I've been seeing this repeated pattern for the last 7 weeks at work. You're fine in the beginning because you're resting at home, but at the end of the week, you come back and I hear you in the house. Just in pain, always saying, ow. My sons have to whenever we eat steak, they would cut the steak knife for me, help me with the groceries, so many things. So I encourage you that you would not be in the jolt of some type of pain, because life is such a surprise and it's so short. I'm sure you have been hearing as well of me, so many passings of people's death, suddenly, randomly, loved ones, strangers, people you know. Let's not be like the shoemaker and get so caught up and busy that you lose your passion and joy. If you have to work to make ends meet, then I pray God will give you the discernment, the wisdom, the guidance to direct your ways. He will always supply your needs. Let us not worry, but to place our trust and our hope and our faith in Him. God says, I'll never leave you or forsake you. My presence is with you. All He wants is our trust in Him, and just to have that simple faith like a mustard seed. Let us find our passion and joy just for life, and to live this abundant life that Jesus came to die on the cross to give to each and every one of us. Remember your worth and value. Remember who and whose you are in Christ. You are royalty. You are prince and princess. God has your name engraved on the palm of His hand specifically. He customizes your life just for you. Let us take the bold actions and take the steps of faith and climb up each stairs and know that He has so much more in store for you in your life. Let us enjoy and embrace the rest of our God-given life with peace, joy, and with His everlasting love. I had this moment just before I made this video on this wonderful rainy day. My son, my younger son, comes out with the guitar. He says, it's a rainy day, let me play a song for you. So I felt like he just serenaded and just sang a beautiful song. We can hear the rain outside. And just during the hearing his song, I was embracing the moment. So much of us, we can't live in the present moment because our minds are either in the past or it's worried, thinking about our future, full of anxieties, concerns, worries, that we can't just truly enjoy the present moment. But I chose, since I've been resting lately these days, I was able to enjoy fully the present moment of my son just playing on his guitar and singing and enjoying the rain